Okay, well, my camera that I would normally use, so it's on a tripod, a little more steady, the battery's dead, so I'm going to do this with my phone, just because I have a chance to do it with no kids and better get it done. But if you haven't noticed what's on that table already, we bought another Bose soundbar, a Bose Cinemate 15. It kind of happened by accident, and if you can't tell the deciding factor right now, it's because of its size. It's so small, fits on my wife's table. It looks good. The room we're in right now is her office. She works from home, and so she likes to have a little background noise, maybe Price is Right or a little music or something. Working in complete silence doesn't work for her, probably doesn't work for most people. So I was in Oregon. There's no sales tax in Oregon, so it made good sense to buy a TV and a soundbar while I was down there. I had every intention of picking up an LG soundbar, or they also make a Vizio soundbar that has matching gray to match the TV. But I was at the Bose outlet store, and they had this Cinemate 15 on display, and a movie was playing, and it sounded pretty good. And I saw the price tag, it was $399. Normally, if you've looked at shopping for this before, the price tag is $599. That's a $200 difference. If you're a Costco member, let's see if we have the remote. They sell it for about $500, and the difference is you don't get this remote, multifunction remote. This is the same remote that comes with all the other Cinemates. But $200 off, no tax, pretty significant savings. The soundbars I was looking at were going to be, let's just say, $200. So it's still double the cost. But I gave her a call, and I said, hey, take a look online, see what you think. And she saw pictures of it, saw the size, and I told her that she doesn't listen to anything loud. And so after listening to the story, I felt comfortable telling her that the sound you're used to listening to in the living room with the Cinemate 130, that quality, the tone of it, everything was going to be the same. So she said, go ahead and get it and bring it home. So we did. So let's look at some of the features. So this is just a 2.1 setup. There is no surround attempt. It is two speakers on forward firing. They don't face direct. They face at an angle. And I'll see if I can get it through the light. If I aim just right, you can kind of see the hint. So the speaker here faces this way, and they've got some design. Obviously, their engineers spent time trying to figure out what was the best way to do this design. And then on the sides, there's a speaker here and a speaker here. So just left, right. Sounds really good. We'll talk about that more in a minute. Let's talk about the inputs. Pretty limited. Back here, you've got your good old left-right input. I forget what you call that, but it's still an RCA type jack. Get that to focus. Fiber optic input, which is what I'm using. I have a fiber optic out on the TV, so that's pretty straightforward. And then we've got this cable. Now this isn't technically the power cable. What this does is that runs down to the subwoofer. The subwoofer actually carries the amplifier inside of it. So this subwoofer is bigger than the wireless subs that come with the other Cinemate series. And I'll tell you right now, I wish this was a wireless sub. I think that's a little bit of a ding on a $600 model. But down here you've got these jacks. Think of like your computer monitor. There's two of them. They have two posts that screw in. So one of them is coming back from the soundbar, bringing in the signal. The other one sends it back to the speaker for power. And here's the power cord for the sub. So you can see about how close I can get this to the wall. Inch or two, same thing. You wouldn't want to bend these much more than here. So that needs to be an inch or two away from the wall at all times. There's no Bluetooth, which, I mean, none of their Cinemate series have Bluetooth without an add-on. And I can kind of live without that. I mean, it's really not a big deal. But when you look at this for $600, it really feels like that this was from a long time ago. It doesn't feel like something that's being sold in 2015. There's no HDMI inputs. And so if you've got multiple HDMIs, your TV better be able to handle it. If you're buying a basic TV, a lot of basic TVs only have 2 HDMI inputs. So what's nice about the other Cinemate 130 I have is there's 4 HDMI inputs. So if you have just a basic TV, that can handle the switching. So even if you want this soundbar, it may not work for you. You have to actually really be aware of what your setup is and what you're going to be using it for. All we're doing in here is I've got a HD antenna coming in and an Apple TV. So, I mean, we're actually really basic up here. for what she's doing, so it wasn't a problem. But if you don't have enough inputs on your TV and you're looking for something that's going to be able to handle all that for you, you already have to quit looking at this. You'll need to look at something different in their Cinemate series if you want it. Another idea I thought of to show you guys the difference in the sizes. I have the Bose original mini link sound speaker. Really love that thing. That's been with me everywhere when I'm doing projects or working around the house. And so that kind of gives you an idea of size. This speaker's really small, and it's just that little bit bigger. Now this can only get so loud. I love how good it sounds, but it's not, it doesn't get screaming loud. You need a different product for that. But this soundbar for this room, try to back up, I think I measured this room at 280 square feet. That soundbar will drown this room in audio, and it sounds good. So let's talk about that part of it. One of the complaints I made, I'm trying to get this to focus again, sorry. One of the complaints I made about the Cinemate 130, for all its pluses, is I felt like acoustic guitars didn't sound as good. I don't have that complaint with this one. Part of me thinks that the reason is because those speakers are facing me, it sounds better, more direct. So if you've ever looked at the Cinemate 130 or seen my review, on my Cinemate 130 I have it laying flat, and this is kind of a fake one, but you could lift it up so the speakers face you, and now all of a sudden I'm questioning if my Cinemate 130 would sound better if it was facing me. So another thing that kind of happens with this one that was really concerning for me at first was that because there's no receiver box, there's no equalizer. You get what you get. If you don't adjust your sound from the source, it's not going to sound any better. Now, at first, when I first plugged this in, I was a little disappointed. And then I realized you got to give it a chance. So I turned it on to a, not horribly loud, to a medium volume, and I walked away for an hour. And I came back up and it sounded better. So there is a little bit of a break-in process, and I remember that on my Cinemate 130, I didn't say it in the review. But there is, you got to give it a little bit of time to kind of get broken. Now that it's broken, I'm very impressed. The sometimes I feel like voices come in a little higher maybe than they would have. But if I think back to my Cinemate 130, I have the center channel turned up so that the voices do come through. So I think Bose knew by limiting your hands, you can't touch the bass, you can't touch treble, you can't make voices stand up. They obviously did this at the factory. Whatever their programming is, it's buried in that sub, and they did a good job. So at first I was really concerned bringing it home that I wasn't going to be able to set the equalizer right. Now that we've had it, I don't care. In fact, my TV, since everything runs through my TV, it has an equalizer in the settings. I can go through and adjust. I want to say on this TV it's 5 different channels of sound, and they got some preset rock, classical, movie. I just turn it back to flat. Instead of trying to interrupt the signal, everything now is just running through the Bose the way Bose intended it to be. So, what am I trying to say? Trying to just give you guys different views of it through the room as the camera kind of goes in and out, different focusing. So what it comes down to is for $3.99, we don't regret it one bit. I would buy it again for any day. It doubled my limit, but sometimes when you go in and you got a certain price range, and you go to buy Bose or anything that's a more higher quality sound, you know you're going to maybe possibly have to splurge a little bit, and that was no different here. This was a splurge, but it's a splurge I can really live with. If I would have paid $5.99, I don't know. And I'm not, anybody, you might own this and you paid $5.99. I'm not trying to put you down. You did get a new product. I got a factory refurbished product. But for $600, without a wireless sub, without a receiver box, without some manual adjustments, for me, it starts to become hard to justify, especially living in Washington. If I would have had to pay my 8.6 sales tax on $600, I just wouldn't have done it. So, but, again, stepping back for $3.99 for what it is, how it fits in with this room, how little space it takes, I think it's pretty hard to disagree with the fact that it's cool. So for me, I would say as much as the Bose Mini Link Bluetooth speaker I have impresses me, this does the same thing for a home soundbar. It's short on some features. I wish it had some more features. But once you get over that, you just turn a movie onto the TV and you start listening. It sounds great. And you kind of forget about it. And I think that's the point. you're supposed to forget about this little sound bar. That's why it's so small. You just set it, leave it alone, and if you want it louder, just turn it up. That's it. If you want a lot of features, look elsewhere. If you just want something that sounds good, you don't have to do a lot of work with it, buy it. It's not a bad product. But if you want more, you need to either look at I forget all the model numbers, but they do make a Cinemate product with a little bit bigger small speaker and the receiver box, so you can look that way. But if you just want a basic, good sounding Bose setup, you found it. If you guys have any questions, go and post them in the comments. I'll do my best to answer them. And if I missed anything, let me know. Okay, I thought this might be a little fun. We'll date this video with a trailer for the Avengers. But as I turn this up, I can keep talking, and that might give you a little bit of perspective of how loud this soundbar is getting in this room.
Artificial intelligence. It's called the Ultron program.
So at this point,
people pay for our mistakes.
This is definitely a loud volume.
Isn't why we fight so we can end the fight and go home?
So if you're looking for a soundbar for a small room,